Okay, so here are the two practice problems that we're going to go over for our video solutions on this and just help in general. So before I put it in Desmos, which is pretty much all you got to do, you just got to take this, type it in Desmos, and the hardest thing is going to be like figuring out how to type in the radicals in Desmos. And I think once you guys get the hang of that, you'll find this pretty simple. Um, Before I do that, though, I just want to point out that I can kind of predict some of the behavior of this, right? Because it's subtracting 5, that means this thing's going to be moving to the right 5 units, right? So if we had a graph, we would go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then it would be going down 6, right? So if I'm correct, right, this is going to be where this thing's going to go. And I know these things normally open up like this, right? Well, it's going to stay that way because there's no negative there, right? And then there's a 2, which means it's going to open quicker, all right? So I'm gonna take a wild stab here and say that this thing's going to kind of look like that, all right? And so now let's put it in Desmos and let's see what we're doing. And a lot of times I like to predict sort of what's going to happen with something because then it's, you're more engaged in it and you're interested in the outcome, right? So let's do this. Let's click this. And so let's toggle it on. And sure enough, you go -5 or 5, -6, you go down here. That's where it starts. I probably didn't open it up quick enough, right, on this. If I move it over, it looks like it crosses the x-axis at about 14, so I might need to adjust that a little bit, but overall that's kind of how this works. So I'm going to make it open up a little quicker, right? So I was mostly pretty on, right? So we'll go like this, and then that looks a little better. All right, and then for the domain, right? The domain is just here's your point where it's starting, right? So it's going to be all x values to the right of this, and all y values above this point here. And so let's label that point on our graph, right? And so that point is the point 5, -6, meaning the domain is going to be x is for all values, x is greater than or equal to 5. And I'm getting that right from here. And then my range is going to be anything greater than or equal to -6, right? So that would be y. Y is greater than or equal to -6. They're both going to be greater than or equal to because they're both moving in the positive direction away from both of these points, right? If this thing were flipped, my y would be the opposite, right? Going down. Okay, so let's try this next one here. So we have 1/4. I think I'm going to write this down because I think this is the one that I did not enter in. And so I'm going to go over how to enter these things in with you guys so you can sort of see this. All right, and this is interesting putting these in. All right, so let's put this thing in. My prediction is that it's going to go up and over to the right 4. So it'll go up 1, over to the right 4, and the 1/4 probably means that it's going to open a lot slower, would be my guess. So let's see if I'm right on that, and let's put this thing in Desmos. So I'm going to click on this, right, and then I'm going to type it in, and I'm going to see if I can slide this over just a little more so you can see it. So I'm going to go y, and it doesn't matter if you put p of x or y or anything in there. I can just use y. And so what I'm going to do, right, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put in the 1/4 first. So you just go 1 divided by 4, and that gives you that. And then with your cursor, just kind of click so you're in the middle level of this. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to functions. You're going to type on functions, and you're going to scroll all the way down to where it says number theory, and you're going to click on this one. And so this will let you put in any kind of root function. And so the number to the left, it tells you is it 3rd root, 4th root, and so we want cube root, so you put 3. And then you put your expression that goes under the radical here. So you go x minus 1, and then you just either can hit your right arrow key, or you can, if you're using this on your phone, you just move your finger over outside of the radical touch the screen and then go +4. And then here's what we get. And sure enough, this looks this looks a lot like what we thought was going to happen, right? It moved our inflection point over 1 and up 4, which is what we thought. And then this thing opens slow, right? It doesn't even grow 1 unit for like a long time. So we are going to reflect that. We're going to show that in our picture, right? So we're over here. We're going to show that we are going up 1 and over 4. So it's going to be right here is our inflection point, and then it's basically just going to go nice and slow that way, and then kind of down here, and then nice. I went way too deep on that one, but you guys get the idea of what we're after here. So your domain is going to be X, and then for all X values, it's going to be all real numbers, right? It's going to take forever for it to, to do that, but, it will. And then Y is going to take even longer to hit all the values, but there's no reason why if this goes on infinitely that it won't, cross the x-axis and get really, really small as time goes on, right? So again, with these cube functions, you're always pretty much going to have all real numbers no matter what. Okay, so good luck with these and have fun.